David, the Congress is back in to talk about that $26 billion, what's being called jobs bill. Education Secretary Arne Duncan is saying about 160,000 jobs to be saved with this bill. How do you feel about that figure? Is that exaggerated at all?
I don't think there's any reason to dispute that figure, but there will be argument about it and where the money goes and who gets it and for what. A lot of it goes to education, and right now education, like all sectors of government, is starving for money. So educators are applauding this. Any relief at all in this storm and these layoffs that are coming is seen as positive. But as always, at some point in time, it's got to be paid for, and that's going to be the big question.
Yeah, the Republicans have really came out, Mitch McConnell especially, was saying that it's the wrong time for this because there is still stimulus money that's been unspent. Is there context to really support that statement?
Well, this is where, Barton, I think where both parties have a point. The Republicans are right that at some point, these loans that we're taking for all these desirable things are going to have to be paid back. Unemployment insurance, education. Very few people can argue against those things on their merits. But the Democrats are also right in saying, my gosh, there are humanitarian issues involved with unemployment insurance. It's some of the best money you can spend. I mean, you give somebody $1 in unemployment benefits, they tend to spend it right away. And the same with education. Education is the ultimate stimulus package. If we spend money on education and develop young people and train them for jobs, then our economy is going to grow. Now, what a situation we're in to have to weigh these two kinds of socially desirable things against each other. But that's the situation the United States is in right now, and it's going to be a debate we have in our country for a long time. How much debt do we reduce, when, and what do we use the money for?
There was an article today that said that Illinois would stand to benefit from this bill by about $1 billion. Now that's money that Governor Quinn has already included in this year's budget. Do you think it was all right for Governor Quinn to assume that these funds were going to be coming, especially for the Medicare payment?
Well, a lot of governors assumed this, and I think they were putting the gun to the head of members of Congress who would have to go home. An Illinois congressman has to go back home and explain why he or she voted to trash the state's budget. I mean, I think there was some politics in doing that, and it wasn't just in Illinois. States are desperate for money. It isn't just Illinois. And so any money that they get from the federal government, they're going to welcome with open arms. And for something like this, for education, it's hard to quarrel with the purpose of it. But again, at some point, these dollars have to be paid back. But politicians right now aren't thinking in terms of the long term, Barton. They're thinking in terms of November. And what do we have to do to get past the election? And so anything that can help a governor of any state balance his or her budget, whether it's for schools, whether it's for Medicaid payments, they're going to take it in a heartbeat. Now,
Illinois having obviously more Democratic congressmen than Republican congressmen for now, isn't that a little weird for the Democratic governor to be putting that kind of pressure on members of his own party?
No, in a deal like this, it's state versus federal. And partisan politics don't have anything to do with it. It's a state governor trying to pressure Congress to do something.
One other report that was in a newspaper in Quincy, Senator Brady made a tour stop in Quincy, Illinois yesterday, and he claimed that he would be able to balance the state's budget within the first year of office. Is that possible? If so, how? Or is Brady just kind of talking?
Well, first of all, sure, it's possible, but I think we'd all like to see the details. I think it's commendable whenever politicians start talking about real issues like this. This is the biggest issue facing this state's government, is how you balance this budget, how you get the finances in order. So they're to be commended for talking about this as opposed to some other sideshow issues that candidates can get into, somebody's who lied on some form as a college student or something. There's a lot of sideshow issues in politics, Martin. This is a real issue. It's the big one in Illinois. And the follow-up question to Senator Brady is, okay, show us how this pencils out. Show us what you're going to cut in order to do this. And the same thing with Governor Quinn. Now, you've proposed a tax increase. Show us where the money's going to go. Show us how your budget pencils out. This is a real difference between these two candidates. It ought to be at the focus of the campaign, and I think voters should be demanding more specificity from both candidates.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.